This training video covers Step 3 of the HeavyJob Foreman's Reference Guide, Complete the Diary. For this video, we're going to look at entering working conditions, using note indexes, using phrases and note templates, attaching images to the diary, and entering general job site notes. So we'll start with the HeavyJob field system. I have a job open with a date and a foreman, and from the previous video, step 2, we always want to check the triangle first. Make sure that you have the correct job, date, and foreman before you begin creating a diary or time card. The next step is called working conditions. Working conditions are a minimum expectation for the HeavyJob diary. In order to enter working conditions, click on the 3-dot button, and if your list is collapsed like this, you can expand the list by clicking the Expand List button in the lower left corner. If your window pops up someplace else on the screen, I suggest just dragging it over close to the 3-dot button so that you don't have to move as far when you open this window. Minimum expectation is you have at least one checkbox in each of the categories. So temperature, weather, and ground conditions. Now you can check more than one. If it started out partly sunny and cloudy and then became overcast and you got a little rain, you can check more than one, but the minimum expectation is that you check at least one working condition. Click OK, and you can see that HeavyJob has typed your entry into the working conditions on the diary. The next item we want to cover are called note indexes. Note indexes are electronic bookmarks that we can use in the system to bookmark events to make them easier to locate 2 weeks from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. We have a tool in the manager system that allows us to look for or search for these note indexes and put them together in a report. So we'll click on note indexes, and again, if the window opens up away from your note indexes, drag it over close. And if you need to expand the list, go ahead and expand the list. Now, note indexes can be customized for each job, but every job will have at least some standard note indexes. And the way they work is if you check the note index, there was a problem today, and say OK, it's going to put that note index over on the text part of your diary. And the expectation is that you would come in and type in additional information with that note index to explain it. There are a lot of note indexes. You have room for up to 10 on each time card or cost code note. They work the same on cost code notes. And some of the common ones are simply there was a problem today, or there was a material delay, there was a request for information or verbal instruction given. So you can use any of these note indexes. And again, over on the diary, the expectation is you would tap your cursor adjacent to the note index and enter additional information. The next item on the list that we want to cover are phrases and note templates. If you click on the phrases button on your diary, you'll see some options for either a note template or a phrase. We'll cover the note template first. The note template is a customizable list of questions or conditions that management has decided they would like you to answer for each diary. If you expand the list, you'll see that there are some pretty extensive note templates filled out for this location. Not every location will have the same list or the same note templates. If you select any of these and tap on the note template, you can see that the questions are going to be presented to you on the right-hand side. You can either fill them out here by tapping your cursor in adjacent to each line, or you can say OK and fill them out on the diary. So general description, type of manhole, production, excavation. They're just a list of predefined questions that they're asking you to answer for each of the note templates. As I mentioned, the note templates work equally well on the diary or the cost code note. The next item on the list are phrases. Phrases have been available for quite a while. They don't get a lot of use, but you should look at the phrases. Some of them might be useful. If, for example, you expand the inspector phrases, you could add the phrase "the inspector didn't show," and it's simply going to add that phrase to the diary and save you typing that phrase. The reality that I see is that most of the time, by the time you find the phrase that you wanted to use, you could have typed it probably quicker. But phrases are there. Sometimes they're useful. If you look for certain phrases, inspector accepted, and you can always tap the cursor in adjacent to a phrase and provide more information. The next item we want to cover is attaching images or documents. On the diary screen, click on the Images and Docs button and then click on Attach. Now you'll have to be able to find where you have the file for your pictures or any type of file that you want to attach to your diary. Most of the time they would come under My Pictures, maybe under another folder. But from this screen on the left-hand side, browse to where you have stored the file or pictures that you want to attach, select the picture, and move it over using the blue arrow. Once you have the picture attached, you can select it from here, and you can add a note index to that picture. For example, I can say that this is part of the problem. And you can also type in comments here to explain the picture or ask questions of your managers. You can attach multiple pictures to your diary, and you can browse to different locations if your pictures are in different locations. There is no limit on the file size or file format, but you don't want to attach huge files because those will take a long time to send when you send in your time card and diary. So once you've attached the picture, you've indexed it if you need to, added comments if you need to, go ahead and close, and you'll see that the Images and Docs button is now bold. That will be the same in the manager system. They will be able to look at your diary and quickly tell that you have attached an image to this diary. The final item is just general job site notes in the diary itself. If you've added note indexes or note templates or phrases, that's fine. But then if you want to add additional information to your diary, just tap in and use the Enter key and move your cursor down a couple of lines and make your diary entry separate from the note index, note templates. The diaries should be reserved for just general job site notes. We want the details about the activities that you worked on to go under your cost code notes. So each cost code will have a required cost code note with the details about that activity. So again, for the diary, just general job site notes, notes about subcontractors on site, if there was an accident on the job site, issue with an employee or the owner's representative, those types of notes would go on your diary. And that's it for the HeavyJob Field System diary entry.